under 10 minutes remaining in the quarter. The Lions making their charge. White, a fresh air shot. Could be costly. Wellman nips through and pops it on the left foot towards Lloyd.
Big take away from Wellman. This is a big kick as far as this game is concerned, Jason. They've got to get the next one, the Bombers.
It is, and Sandy, you made a very important call. You said it could be costly. Darryl White was the man that flew. He's playing on Sean Wellman. Now, he's gone for the big fist, missed it. His opponent gets it, kicks it forward, and all of a sudden we've got Matthew Lloyd lining up from 45, 50 metres out directly in front. But it is a big kick. There is a swirly breeze. It'll need to be a good one, but don't the Bombers need it?
This for their first goal for the quarter for Lloyd. He's kicking for his third.
Inside 50 so far in this term, and bear in mind that the Lions just went into theirs. It's 9-5. They've doubled the time almost. They've doubled the occasions. They will as soon as this ball goes in.
They managed just a couple of behinds for the quarter. The Lions had somewhat of a drought. McAvaney is leaving the ground for McRae as Lloyd set sail for home from 49 metres. The century goal kicker has steadied the Essendon ship and he's kicked his third. One in each quarter to Matthew Lloyd, and didn't they want that one?
Been pretty lean pickings in terms of marks for Matthew Lloyd. But one great thing about his play and his character is he will continue to work, he will continue to put himself in the right positions, and his attack on the ball is first class. Good strong hands. Mal Michael can't affect the spoil. It's a good leap, and more importantly for the Bombers, a great kick from 50.
So Lloyd with a goal in each of the terms. He's got 3. Leigh Matthews said on Talking Footy would give him 3 or 4. He's nearly there. McAvaney off, McRae on. Hard out of the centre. So Essendon respond. They lead by 9 points in what's been a thriller. To Pike. One of 20 players out there to have played in a premiership. The kick to half forward to Brown. McRae, little handball, well played though. Terrific stuff Heffernan. It was meant for power. Boundary throw-in.
Third coming from the ground. McVeigh on, continuing to rotate both sides, getting fresh legs on, trying to save something. What is no doubt going to be a very close tussle late in the match.
So Jason Johnson still there warming up. Voss tries to go through, can't quite. The handball to Lapham was good. The left foot's not bad. Oh. It's terrific. It's a goal from nowhere. Voss the architect, Lapham the finisher. That is a damaging blow to Essendon.
It is. It's an immediate answer by the Lions. 2 players that got plenty of ball in the first half, didn't quite use it, but have a look at the way Michael Voss uses the body. He spins in the contest to protect the ball, then shoots out the hand pass, and look at the left foot finish. That's brilliant from Nigel Lappin.
Sort of Mark McVeigh there, just not quite knowing the tempo at which the game was being operated at his first attempt.
He's had an extraordinary run, Nigel Lappin. He hasn't missed a game since round 4 of 1998. That's his 92nd straight game, and he's kicked a very, very important goal.
And Voss is staying forward. Wellman's been dragged back to pick him up.
We're back to a 3-point ball game. Sheedy, and in the background is Terry Danaher, who of course played in the 1990 Grand Final. Here's Lucas, caught by Black. They pounce on him. Barnard. An errant hand pass. It finishes with Black. It takes it from Notting. Black goes down towards the 50, over the head of McRae, over the head of Lynch. Flicked down again towards Lappin. It's pushed out wide. Fletcher's under the pressure. He gives it across to Hardwick. Hardwick steadies, comes back towards the middle. The Bombers now need something. Hart used the body pretty well. Flicks it towards Scott. Chris Scott, well smothered. Maybe now they get the chance. Here's Caracella, flicking it over the top, down towards the half-forward line. But stolen by Johnson. Away goes Chrissy Johnson, spearing a worm-burning pass to half-forward, and McRae takes the mark. Suddenly, the foot's gone on the accelerator. The Lions are running. He goes in towards Brown. Jonathan Brown is in the pocket. We'll go back now and shoot for goal. And this will be a kick to give the Lions the lead.
And if he kicks this goal, you can put that down to Chris Johnson. He was brilliant. He left his man. He took the gamble. He knew they had the numbers. He took off early.
Stole it from McCurry.
Spoiled the ball, kept his feet, and then drilled a pass forward. And all of a sudden, Jonathan Brown lining up from deep in the pocket. A tight angle. He did kick one early on in the match. A similar sort of angle, albeit from the other side.
Sandy, the Lions were preparing to bring Bradshaw on just then, but having a look at the way they're playing at the moment, they've decided against it.
Pretty wise move, Matty. Brown for his second, the youngest player on the ground. This to give the Lions the lead. He has done it. He has given them the lead.
He's starting to have an influence, Jonathan Brown. There's no doubt that Scott Lucas has been the best forward, if not the best player on the ground. But all of a sudden it's starting to be balanced up a little bit by Jonathan Brown. You'll see the spoil there. Over the top McCurry came Johnson. And then have a look at the composure of the pass as a worm burner. Hits McRae, and then he finds Brown. Brown now has 10 possessions, 4 marks and 2 goals.
Bradshaw's on. First time the Lions have been in front since quarter time. They've kicked 5 of the last 6 goals. The momentum is with them. Alessio went early. Black tapped it. Scott missed it. Masidi, Carosella, Ramanauskas loads up. Goes to Lloyd at full forward. Michael did really well. Rioli couldn't quite get to it. McCurry's handball to Smoke and Joe. Good smother, Chris Johnson, who's done some wonderful things to Ashcroft. Ashcroft to centre wing. Hardwick at it tough. Well played, McRae. Still in play. Ackermanis wants to touch it, but he can't go on it yet. And it'll be a boundary throw into a ball up. McCurry off, Hurd on. White to Power to Heffernan and White. White's handball only as far as Ramanauskas to Johnson. It's out on the full.
Chris Johnson to bring it back into play and give it to Keating, but that's the pressure that now Brisbane is starting to apply that caused that error. Keating goes straight back to Chris Johnson. Hurd on the mark. Leaves it.
He can go back to Keating if he wants.
Well, Hurd's not sure whether to drop back on him. Eventually he does. Johnson looks downfield. Bradshaw. The lead was good. Daniel Bradshaw hasn't had a major influence in the forward line to date. Just 4 kicks. The Voss lead is ignored. Instead he goes laterally towards Marcus Ashcroft.
More confidence creeping into the Lions' foot skills.
They're almost in the stage, Brisbane, where they've got to play a defender on Chris Johnson. He's having that big an impact, particularly in this quarter.
Well, the tentativeness and the nervousness appears to have gone out of their game. We've got 36 players in one half of the ground. Ashcroft goes long, up towards half forward. Strong mark. Alistair Lynch. 5 marks to Lynch so far in this game. The only thing that's been letting him down has been his kicking for goal.
And it was just pure strength, Sandy. You called it. He brushed by the body contact of Dustin Fletcher and the good clean hands.
It's amazing how these go through when the momentum's running with you.
2 goals. Thank you, Gerard.
Not that
2
time.
goals, 3, and he's put it even further away almost. Ramanauskas will try and smash it clear down towards Mark Johnson. He defends in the back pocket, but they get it away back towards centre wing. Chopped off by Hart. They're appearing irrepressible at the moment as Hart goes short to Notting. Notting is 50 out. He can't get a clear run at goal, so he goes back to Hart. He can't get clear either, so he comes wider to Chris Scott. Scott is now a long way from goal, some 80 metres. He might go back again, and he does to Tim Notting.
Well, Kevin Sheedy has set up his defence, jam-packed with players, and Leigh Matthews would have said, don't continue to blaze the ball in. If you're stuck, just keep feeding it around until you see an opening.
Flat-looking punt kick goes up towards full forward and off the hands of the pack through for 1 behind.
Big quarter, trail by 14 and now lead by 4. No team has been outscored in the 3rd quarter in over a decade and won the Premiership. Fletcher goes long, very long. Alessio's his target, doesn't let him down. He's been terrific. To Hurd, Hurd to half forward. Lloyd and Michael. Michael's done very well in this turn. Lloyd hanging on, free kick to Michael. That's a big win, I reckon.
It's a super piece of play. He kept his feet, controlled the ball, and in the end, rewarded with the free kick.
Wobbly kick to White. They're going to be okay. He had Lappin to help him, and now he uses Lappin. Lappin to half forward. Keating's on. Voss will run for him. He uses him. Voss to deliver. Awkward-looking kick. He's got Lynch, though. Lynch in the pocket.
Running power of Brisbane becoming very significant. Just having a look at the way Essendon lack players running from one side of the ground to the other indicated, as the sun has come back out, that maybe the petrol tickets are going to be a problem.
Good shot of the angle. He's had 7 shots for goal today, Lynch, and kicked 2.
And you wouldn't be confident from an angle like that, Bruce. He's looking to lay it off.
What a big kick, though. I mean, if he kicks this deep into this third quarter, it'll cause...
Chris Johnson here.
Look at this.
It's gone back to him. Thanks, Dipper. It'll create even more doubts in the Bomber minds. They're patient, aren't they? They refuse to panic here, the Lions. Kick to Lappin. May have been meant for Notting, doesn't matter.
Chris Scott was the man on the lead, but it would have hit the target either way, Bruce, and that's the third low bullet pass that's found its mark from Chris Johnson this quarter.
He, as Gerard said, has become a huge factor in this third quarter as Chris Johnson provided the run of the day in the second. Now Lappin, who kicked an exquisite goal earlier in the quarter, kicks from about 50. Looking good, looking good, looking great. And so's his team. Lappin's kicked 2. Brisbane have kicked 6 of the last 7. And suddenly you've got to ask yourselves, can the champs come back?
Well, this is where you'd expect Essendon to answer. They're a champion team, there's no question about that. We see a replay of the foot skills from Chris Johnson. Would have hit Chris Scott right on the logo, but it was Nigel Lappin just dropping across and taking the mark. And look at him riding that one in on the breeze.
Two goals to the 25-year-old from Chiltern. Jason Ackermanis still on the sidelines. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the quarter.
Sandy, talk about icing on the cake when you can bring Ackermanis back here fresh.
It's a major bonus, isn't it? Scotty Lucas on the sidelines for Essendon as Alessio goes against Keating in the middle. It's won by Keating around to Black. Black towards White, but Mark Johnson got a hand to it. Didn't hold it. White's at the bottom of the pack and he's still going. Tries to get it towards Pike, who shovels it back to White. Well done, off to Chris Scott. Scott puts them inside 50 again. A long bomb into full forward. Alistair Lynch backed into the pack, taken towards the line, and over goes Dustin Fletcher. But they're just about at full throttle now, the Lions. They lead by 10 points. They led by 5 at quarter time, trailed by 14 at half time, as Moorcroft comes onto the ground for Ramanaskas. He's got the hands on the hips. The bouncing ball is with Chris Scott. He gets claimed by Rioli from behind. It spills free to Michael Voss. Voss needs someone going past, and he's got Ashcroft. Marcus Ashcroft. Again, they go towards full forward, towards a Lynch.
Oh, it's a
header.
He hasn't played.
Keating, not paid. Well, they go on, so Pike decides he will kick the goal. Catch us now, say the Lions. Martin Pike has kicked only 5 goals for the year. Now you can make it 6, and the old football nomad is absolutely delighted.
And that was nearly a carbon copy of the first quarter. An identical position, the same sort of snap. It looked to be nearly a mark, didn't control it. Clark Keating, but have a look. He extricates himself from a tight situation. No mistake this time from Martin Pike. And look at the reaction of his teammates.
It's become a flood, hasn't it? The gates are opened up now. You just doubt whether they can stop it. It feels like it's irresistible. Alessio's been so good. Hart belts forward. Carousella caught. Ackermanis onto him. Talk about going in for the kill here. Pike tries to bash through. Bradshaw goes in hard. The Bombers just standing up, just standing up.
Look at the numbers.
Bradshaw, Scott, Chris Scott, out the back. Can they get a goal from somewhere? Ackermanis' free kick goes to Essendon. They needed it. They'll take anything at this stage. So Heffernan down back to half forward. They can't find a way home. Ashcroft's had a terrific quarter. He started it by kicking a goal, and he's just got better. Out wide to Brad Scott. There are winners everywhere here. We said it was the Premiership quarter at the start. You reckon it's going to be proved to be just the case? White, they're teasing them now. 16 points the margin. To Chris Johnson, who has had a spectacular match, particularly in this quarter. What a turn. It's not over yet. Fletcher goes long. They're hoping here, Essendon. Leppich at the back. He'll bang it right back from where it came. Just can't find a way now when you look around the ground where they can hurt them, can you?
It's
going to be Brown.
Yeah, man in front.
So Brown in the heart of the centre square.
In many respects, Leppich to full back, I think, symbolises the change of this side with Leigh Matthews going there. He made him an All-Australian fullback, and he's made this side perhaps a Premiership side. We're 8.5 minutes away.
Black to the line.
And you've got to give marks to Leppich and Mal Michael when it looked like Lucas in particular, but also Matthew Lloyd were going to have a big say on the outcome of the game. They've closed them down in the second half.
Barnes and McDonald out of the air. Still McDonald to Voss in the pocket. Voss close. He's done it. Has he? The captain. He's finished it off. How fitting that the player of the year in so many ways delivers the knockout punch.
Well, that's the one that sent Brisbane fans into raptures. I think they'd feel that they're home now. And I've got to tell you, it didn't look a particularly pure kick off the boot. Oh, look at the float. It's almost an instep talk, but it goes through. He's had a very good day, 22 possessions and now a goal to Michael Voss. And he's pumped.
Michael Voss becomes the 9th goal scorer for the Brisbane Lions. There's Kevin Sheedy, the defending championship coach. And Leigh Matthews. He brought Collingwood out of the woodwork. Now he's bringing the Brisbane Lions out. The Pies had a long wait from 58. The Lions has been even longer from 44.
Ross is calling for it long.
Here's Ackermanis, and he's going long. Brown will come in from the side. Brown! Lynch!
He hasn't paid it.
He hasn't paid it. So Lynch plays on, gives it across to Pike. Pike snaps, but all to no avail. It was touched off the boot.
Now, generally, even when the ball's punched from behind on your hands, if you get... Well, I guess it was just reaching out with the one hand. If you had about both hands there and it was punched, it would have been paid.
Throw in the left forward pocket. The Lions have done the bulk of the attacking in this quarter. They've done the bulk of the attacking since half-time. McDonald, Alessio, neither get a hand to it. Bo then tries to flick it down. Probably looking for Darryl White, didn't find him. And a bounce will be the end result.
James Hird, 8 possessions, 4 kicks, 4 hand passes. Wouldn't be, I guess, totally pleased with his performance today. Been a disappointing afternoon for the Bomber skipper.
What a magical 3 years for Leigh Matthews after his 10-year stint at Collingwood. 4th in '99 with the Lions, 5th in 2000. And now he's almost reached the ultimate again. To the outer side goes Joe Masidi. Masidi wide. Copeland, McRae and Bradshaw still running the boundary line for the Lions.
9 individual players have kicked goals for the Bombers. For Brisbane. It's been one of their great trademarks, their secrets to success all season. And again in the grand final, they've delivered.
Ackermanis to Power. Power for a third. Another one. It happens every year, doesn't it? It's unstoppable in that second half. Look at that scoreboard now.
And that's the difference, Bruce. I think the players at one stage, they hit a point where they say, we now can't win. And the tremendous weight of a lost grand final starts to sink in. It's only natural that the work rate drops off. And it would be disappointing if the Lions opened up a huge margin, because the Bombers have been so good battling under a severe injury list this year. They don't deserve to be given a bit of a hiding here at the end.
Having said that, I reckon every Brisbane player will want to get involved in this goal-kicking orgy that's about to go on.
It's a 46-point turnaround since half-time. Alessio, back to Carosella, to Masiti, found it. Well, they're playing for pride, Essendon, really now. Back to Carosella, Little chip kick, doesn't quite find its mark. Heffernan weaving through, can't get enough on the left. Touched it was. Chris Scott will go away. Left-hand handball, may find the line. Back to Michael. He's had a terrific second half and out of play.
Really, that kick of Carousel into the forward line symbolised where their problems started from, Jason. That the way they brought the ball into their forward line in the early part of the third quarter has killed the Bombers' chances.
Certainly has.
32 points the margin.
And you look at someone like Mal Michael, who started on the bench, hasn't been just an amazing turnaround for his afternoon. He's played a major part in helping the Lions get over the top of the Bombers.
They've started celebrating at South Bank Piazza in Brisbane. We've still got 6.5 minutes remaining. But they know that a 32-point lead is a darn healthy one. McDonald lost it. Johnson has gone out of the game. So good early. Blumfield just tries to slap it further forward. James Hird almost threw it in play. Scott, Ackermanis, away goes the Brownlow medalist. Acker's away. Hand pass, partly smothered. Carosella may get a chance, and he does. Just forward of the centre, he spears it in towards Rioli. White is a late spoiler, but a very, very effective one. Johnson gets caught, the ball just pops up in the air. Back towards Rioli once again. He couldn't take it. Voss, steady, cool and calm. Away goes Black. Ackermanis is still running. Brown is right there with him. Look at Acker, making position in the forward line. Down he goes, 40 metres out, and he'll go back and kick for goal.
Pretty good thinker is Brown. Yep, just waited. Could have blazed away, but he just sat back and finished off a very good afternoon with 14 kicks and 2 handballs by setting it up to the Brownlow medalist. He's had a few cracks at goal, hasn't been all that successful. But he'd like to get one on the scoreboard to add to his 2 behinds.
Big finish for Jason Ackermanis. 7 possessions in the quarter, 3 marks. This would be the icing on the cake. Starts at left, back it comes, and he kicks the goal. Two goals to Jason Ackermanis. The young man who started it all at Mildura, went to Maine, now finds himself on centre stage here at the MCG.
10-7 to 2-3 since half-time. Hard out of the air. Masiti. Barnard. Jason Johnson's been probably just about their best. To Barnard, chopped off by Chris Johnson.
Been pretty good as well, Chris Johnson.
Fletcher's gone forward.
A tough job giving the Norths with medal today, Jason. I reckon Johnson has had his hand up. A couple of the Bombers dominating it to half-time, but since then it's been all Brisbane.
Lucas and Jason Johnson early, weren't they? But
I think Lappin and Voss are certainly a couple of the big names that have put their hands up, but I wouldn't be selling Sean Hart's work rate short today either.
Mal Michael through the centre. Look at this to Black.
All the way.
With run everywhere. On his left and his right.
He wants
a second bounce. He's at 50. A third bounce. Loads it up. Kicks it. Not great. Running away. And through for a behind. But that midfield, that collective midfield, whilst they were strangled a bit early, Voss, Lappin, Ackermanis and Black, at the end of the day, it's been a huge contribution again.
Johnson a target. He marks on half-back in front of Notting. Called to play on Mark Johnson, and he does to Scott Lucas, who looks further downfield. And he finds Jacobs just forward of centre wing.
He's had a very good game for the Bombers, Jacobs.
To Rioli. So desperately keen to do the job for Michael Long today. Lloyd marks just outside 50. Strong mark in front of Lappin.
You talk about the contribution of Voss, Ackermanis, Black and Lappin. They've also contributed on the scoreboard as they have every week. 5 goals between those 4. With none to Simon Black, but 5 between them is a pretty handy contribution from the midfield.
In fact, it's almost unfair to keep someone like Sean Hart out of the Fab Four. He does a tremendous amount of work. But this is Lloyd from 53 metres.
He's floated it through.
Lovely looking kick. It wasn't all that pretty, but it was effective. And the Bomber forward is going to bag 5. 5 out of their 11.
It's kicked 4 of their last 8 goals.
Well, look, in a losing grand final, to kick 5 goals means you've done something right, haven't you? He's worked hard. He's continued to lead. He just has a great work ethic, Matthew Lloyd. He never stops trying. A lot of pride in his performance. It's a bit of a floater off the boot, but he got the job done. he can certainly hold his head up high for the chance that he's given Essendon to be in this match this afternoon.
Just the 2 goals from their midfield, though. Essendon won to Carousella early in the match. Jason Johnson also got one early.
Well, 8 out of the 11 goals have come from Lucas and Lloyd.
Yep.
They've asked too much from too few. There's Lucas. Wide to Masiti. So we're back to a 33-point game here. Barnard in to get rid of Hart. Masiti short. Ramanauskas, I think he was off, but given the benefit of the doubt. Kevin Sheedy will hate playing Leigh Matthews in grand finals, won't he, as a coach? Ramanauskas.
Think they might meet again, Bruce?
Sure they will. McDonald belts it away. To McVeigh. To Moorcroft. Back to Hurd. Back to Wellman, who's been really good. Wellman goes to full forward and finds Lucas, who might kick a fourth. And he does he?
Couldn't have missed it,
It's
sure.
close. He has got 4. And the Bombers are salving something from the wreck.
Lee just indicating that the match isn't over until the siren goes.
Yes, she might be warming the throat up, the fat lady, but she hasn't started singing yet, has she? And disappointing just to see a few of the Lions drop off their tasks there. Not a great deal of desperation.
Martin Pike is off the ground and suffering from a little cramp, so Robert Copeland, who's not 100%, is back on the ground. He injured his shoulder earlier in the match. It is a great story for Martin Pike, isn't it?
He's had his career rejuvenated by Leigh Matthews. Many thought he was gone, but he's now a premiership player with 2 clubs.
So back in the centre with just a couple of minutes remaining, and there's been an infringement in the square. It's gone against the Brisbane Lions. It's Justin Blumfield who takes it now and kicks down towards the 50. The diving mark is taken by Lloyd again. 55 out. Plays on quickly. Bending it back in towards the square. Can someone take a mark? It's smashed over the line defensively. The one behind. Ashcroft and Johnson both there. And Mal Michael, been one of the form defenders in the competition this year.
Sandy, Brad Scott, you've seen a lot of him this year along with Jason. Jason, yep. He's had a wonderful year, and again a big match on one of the competition's best players.
Has done a brilliant job on James Hurd, and I can tell you right now, Leigh Matthews is a huge rap. He just thinks he's super dependable when it comes to giving him a job. He knows he will put his body on the line and give him everything.
Now, is it true that both the Scott brothers were playing golf yesterday down at the National here?
Both low single figure handicappers and love getting out on the course. Not a bad way to relax before a grand final.
Preferring that to the parade. 108 plays 82. The Lions are just about there. Towards centre wing, Lucas. There's some holding on. It's gone against Jonathan Brown.
He can't believe it.
19-year-old can't believe it. But he could well have the last laugh in a couple of minutes as Lucas floats it down in towards the forward pocket. Again, the defence is there, and Rioli just gives Mal Michael a not-so-subtle shove in the back. Yeah,
he's doing the job on the Fletcher now. Dustin Fletcher surged forward for Essendon, looking for a couple of late goals.
Speaking of recruiting, Coos, they thought they were relatively small in defence, and it was exposed. I think it was against Carlton last year. They've picked up Mal Michael and Martin Pike, and both players have delivered for them. In particular, I think Mal Michael.
Well, Leigh Matthews called him the recruit of the year.
Well, he was at all Australian selection level. He was, only second or third, I think, behind the eventual winner in Jonathan Hay.
Tumbling it towards centre wing. Just ball drops down in front. Lappin twisting and turning, couldn't take it. Solomon locks up Black, and we will have another bounce.
26 points. If it stays like that, it'll be the lowest winning margin since Hawthorn's 6-point win over Geelong in '89. It has felt close for much of the day, hasn't it? Even though the Lions have dominated this second half. They have been terrific. And to do what Carlton did in '95 and win 16 in a row on grand final day.
And Bruce, they've broken through here at the MCG 4 times. At the MCG, they've tried to beat Essendon. 4 times they've failed. That's now gone.
I think they got their timing right, Sandy.
Perfect.
Brad Scott, who has been so good. He had the job on Hurd. Kicks the ball to centre wing. Wellman front spot, good mark. Lynch has had a terrific day. He kicked straight. he'd be one of the players of the match.
He would certainly be in line for the Norm Smith. He's had 7 marks, 10 possessions, kicked 2 goals for.
They've done it.
But he's got the ball in his hands, Bruce.
A bit of history here. Leigh Matthews has been to the top of the mountain for a second time as coach. Once at Collingwood, and now he's done the impossible. Brisbane have won the Premiership. And they've beaten the champs. And they've beaten them emphatically with an absolutely irresistible second half.
26 points, the final margin, and it's just starting to sink into young players like Beau McDonald as Leigh Matthews sprints out to his fabulous team who've stopped an amazing run by the mighty Essendon.